Hello guys and welcome to Odds on Serie A. We can see a sorpasso. We can see Inter Milan on top of the table, but Milan needs to drop points at Bologna. We are going to analyze everything with Dani Fisichella, but I also want to know your opinion. So let me know what you think in the comment section and you will have the chance to win a £10 free bet with Novibet. Besides, if you enjoyed the video, do not forget to click on the like button, subscribe to our channel and click on the bell to get all the notifications. And now let's go on with the show. We have this weekend new Serie A match day. It's gonna be the 20th, and we have the fight between Milan and Inter. Now in Serie A, maybe we see a sorpasso taking over Inter and Milan, and Dani Fisichella is gonna tell us all the tips for these 10 games. Hello, Dani.
Ciao, Edu. Hello, everyone. Serie A, it's exciting as ever. So yeah, another round of fixtures that can decide a lot, I think, in this title race.
It's boiling after Coppa Italia midweek games with the Derby della Madonnina on Tuesday. We will talk a little bit later because the first game we have on Friday is Torino Fiorentina with the relegation in place, especially for Torino. They are doing way better in the last games, only one defeat in the last 7 games, but they are not winning. They couldn't beat even Benevento and they were this close to lose. Only Zlatan avoided that defeat, and now they face Fiorentina that they are getting the results, especially at home. They beat Crotone 2-1. They are not shining. We cannot say that Prandelli's team is amazing, but at least they are far from the relegation, getting close to the middle of the table, Dani. And here the odds suggest us that we are going to see a draw.
Let's start with Torino. They have no wins at home. They just sacked the manager Giampaolo and they brought Nicola in. We could see after the draw at Benevento how much it meant for Nicola to get that first point. He rallied all the players in the pitch. He had a big motivational speech at the end, a lot of anger and a lot of passion from him. That's what Torino needs because they are obviously underperforming. No wins at home so far in the league. 3 straight draws. They are the second worst defense of the league. Remember, 37 goals conceded, and they play a Fiorentina who come on the back of 2 straight away defeats. We still remember the 6-0 they suffered in Naples. They are also, surprisingly, the 3rd worst attack of the league, and this is something really concerning for a team that has the like of Vlahovic, Ribéry, Castrovilli, Bonaventura, who scored a great goal at the weekend. I think they should do more. Maybe that's why they brought in Kokorin, the Russian. It's a big gamble for Fiorentina, but maybe he might start the game. I can see Fiorentina slightly favorite on this one because of the poor home form of Torino, but I'm gonna be cautious and say an Asian handicap of 0 of Fiorentina, 2.02. Obviously, it's always important to remember you get your money back if there is a draw.
Yeah, the only away victory for Fiorentina this season was in that very same city against Juventus, 0-3, and what a goal scored by Bonaventura. What a volley, his first goal for the Viola. Absolutely. And it couldn't be more stunning. Then on Saturday we go to the Scudetto fight, Bologna-Milan at De Lara, with Milan being kicked out of the Coppa Italia 2-1 in the last minute with that free kick scored by Eriksen. Now they face Bologna, who lost in the weekend against Juventus. And Ibrahimovic was sent off in the Coppa. Actually, I don't know if he can play in Serie A after
he can
after that red card. And we were all shocked by that fight between Lukaku and Zlatan. Before we hear your tip about Bologna Milan, Dani, in a fight, Lukaku Ibrahimovic, who do you bet on?
Well, I mean, is tough to call, because I mean they went head to head physically on the game yesterday. A provocation from one side to another. I think in the end Milan were let down by Ibrahimovic because he didn't keep his cool in the incident with Lukaku. Let's remember, at the beginning Lukaku was arguing against Romagnoli, then Ibrahimovic spotted it and provoked him, but in the second half, being booked, Ibrahimovic committed a foul on Barella, which was a yellow, and then the red. Apparently Ibrahimovic then apologized to his teammates straight away, but this could have a psychological effect on Milan, I think. Although they will be with Ibrahimovic in Bologna, they seem a bit nervous in the last few weeks, and that's the time when they need to keep their cool.
Yeah, it's like UFC with McGregor, that fight. And let's see, Danny, if Milan can bounce back, because 2 consecutive defeats, this one in the Coppa Italia, that defeat against Atalanta, and now be careful, only 2 points difference with Inter. So if they drop points here in Bologna, there could be a sorpasso from Inter.
Absolutely, and Bologna are in a good form, unbeaten in the last 3 at home. They beat Verona 1-0, good victory. They were good for many good spells in Turin. The result, it's quite a lie, if you like, 2-0. It's not the right result for Juventus. Bologna had their chances, 5 goals scored, 4 conceded in the last 3 home games. Bologna, obviously, they can leak goal at the back. Milan have been good on the road, 3 away wins. Sassuolo, Benevento and Cagliari, only 1 goal conceded. But I'm going to go for a cautious bet this time, and I'm going to say Bologna 1x double chance, which pays quite well, 2.05.
Okay, Pioli's men dropping more points, and if they drop points, we always say that we cannot rule out Juventus out of the title race, but they have a very tricky game in Genoa against Sampdoria, against Ranieri, an ex of Juventus, like many other teams in Serie A. And Sampdoria, they were able to beat Inter only 2 weeks away. They beat Parma on the road. They also beat Udinese, so they are in form, I would say. In the last 4 games, only 1 defeat against Sassuolo and Juventus. They have to play Coppa Italia. They beat Bologna, but for sure Juventus are not that good, let's say. So they can suffer for sure in this visit to the Luigi Ferraris.
Juventus have the problem, they struggle to close game downs and to kill teams off. We saw time and time again during the season. We saw against Bologna as well. They had chances, they didn't convert them after taking the lead, and then Bologna came back. They needed an extraordinary Szczesny to keep the clean sheet. At the end of the day, Juventus have an easy game, we think, at least at the time we're recording this video, in the Cup against Spal. They are resting players. They'll bring Ronaldo back for the trip to Marassi. Still no Dybala injured, but they have the best defense. 18 goals conceded, only won 3 of the last away games, and of course they won 3-1 in Marassi earlier in the year. But careful with Sampdoria, they scored 9 in the last 6 and won 3 of the last 4 games, and they play obviously very well when they can play with 2 up front, either Keita Balde or Quagliarella, or Torregrossa, who they just brought in the January market. I go for goals. Obviously Juventus a favorite, but that doesn't pay very much, so let's go for over 3.5 goals, which might seem a lot, but I think Sampdoria can go on the score sheet. So over 3.5 goals, 2.71.
Quagliarella, another ex of Juve. Continuing with the title race, we have Inter, the team of the moment for sure, against Benevento after winning the Derby d'Italia against Juventus, now kicking out the city rivals in the Coppa, and they are very close to be on top of the table. But last weekend they drew against Udinese. They missed a good chance. Now I guess, Danny, they should beat Benevento, but be careful, because we might get confused about Benevento, but they are actually good on the road. 4 victories this season outside their stadium, and last weekend they drew against Torino. They are far away from the relegation zone, so if Inter is very relaxed, they could suffer.
No doubt Benevento is going to go to the San Siro to play football. the way they always do and the way that Filippo Inzaghi wants their team to play, and they do it very well. In fact, they do score goals, they create chances, no matter if they miss some players, and they will still miss some important players for this trip. However, they start leaking far too many goals. 13 goals conceded in the last 5. They are the 4th worst defense with 36 goals. You need to be careful, because in Serie A, you win the titles and you stay up by having a good defense. That's one of the rules of the Italian football. Inter struggle against teams that close them down, that perhaps park the bus, and they missed a chance to go top at Udinese, because Udinese executed the game plan perfectly. They didn't create much, but they basically defended with 9 men behind the ball. It was 5-2 in the reverse fixture in Benevento, in the Vigorito. Inter comes on the back of 6 straight home wins in the league, but they only kept 2 clean sheets in the last 6 home games. So again, I think it's a high scoring game, and you can go for over 3.5 goals, which pays 2.15.
Let's see if a Milanista like Filippo Inzaghi can steal points to his rival Inter, but it's going to be very difficult for sure for Benevento. Another newly promoted team is Spezia, and they are doing especially well in the last weeks. Now they face Udinese. Spezia, they have a Coppa Italia game against Napoli. They lost in the Olimpico in the very, very last minute, but they were in a good run in the last 5 games in all competitions. Only 1 defeat that left them 4 points above relegation, and now they face Udinese. You were saying how they were able to stop Inter. They did the same with Atalanta, so 2 eye-catching results, but the reality is also that they haven't won in the last 9 games in Serie A.
And the fact Udinese hasn't won in so many times, so many games, is because they miss the killer, they miss the poacher, the number 9 who score the ugly goals sometimes, and that's why this week they brought in Fernando Llorente from Napoli. The Spaniard scored 26 goals in 86 Serie A games, so it's a good tally. Obviously, Udinese have offloaded Kevin Lasagna to Verona, but they are winless in 4 away games. They go to Spezia, which is a tough client, I'm sure, and they are doing so well at the moment without the man Zola. Might be back for this game. Probably was going to be rested for the cup game in Naples. We'll see what happens in Naples. There might be the surprise package of the cup by shocking Naples. They won at Udinese 2-1 in the first game of the season, but surprisingly Spezia are better on the road. Only 1 win at home so far. So the draw pays quite a lot. I think these are results that both managers will be happy with it. So go for the draw, 3.32.
I love these calciomercato things that they interchange cards, Llorente to Udine, Lasagna to Verona, and the chain will continue.
They're all loans. Obviously, they're all loans because no one spends a penny or an euro in this transfer market. So, you know, it's just the hope that maybe then the loan can be permanent at the end of the season, but it's very unlikely, I think.
A team that got money this week actually was Atalanta. 5 million euros is not a lot for Papu Gomez going to Sevilla. Papu Gomez had a problem with Gasperini, and now the Argentinian is gone to La Liga. And Atalanta face Lazio. It's going to be a replay of the game of Coppa Italia for sure. This Serie A game will be marked by what is going to happen in this Coppa Italia fixture. But what we have to say right now is these 2 teams probably are the 2 best in the Serie A right now, together with Inter. Atalanta beat Milan 0-3. Ilicic played really well. Also Zapata. And Lazio, they are in an amazing run in this 2021. They beat Sassuolo. Immobile is scoring goals, 5 victories in a row. So what to expect here? This is a very important game for the European battle.
It's crucial because Atalanta is 3 points ahead from Lazio. The easiest thing to say will be go for the goals market, because in the last 10 games between the 2 teams, excluding the Coppa Italia, which we haven't yet seen, 41 goals in 10 games, so an average of 4 goals per game, and that could be the easiest bet, but going for the goal market doesn't pay too much. I think Atalanta plays very well, extraordinarily well, against teams that let you play, that leave you space for exchange the ball quickly and playing in the opposite quarter of the pitch. However, with Lazio is a team that makes you play badly. It's got this talent to shut you down by pressing high, by being aggressive, by being hard to beat, to make some niggly fouls here and there, and they make you play badly. We saw it with many other teams. The thing is that Lazio doesn't just park the bus, then they are lethal on the counter-attack because they got pacey wingers in Marusic, which I think is one of the most underrated players in Serie A. Then they got Lazzari on the other side, Immobile, Correa in form. Obviously, they will miss Luis Alberto, who's been operating from appendicitis. Atalanta will miss the two wing backs, which are Gosens and Atebor. So, I mean, there are a few caveats on this game. It's not easy to go for a straight outcome. I'm going to go for a double chance for Lazio in this case. I'm going to go for X2, and that pays 210, because I think, Lazio can shut Gasperini men down, and also they would have played them 3 days before, so that's a good rehearsal for them. So X2, 2.10.
Okay, for Lazio, Parolo style, no? Controlling, being pressure.
Tight, yeah, absolutely.
Completely tight.
That's how you win games as well.
So for sure we will have fun in this game in the Stadio Azzurri d'Italia, maybe not in Sardinia. Cagliari Sassuolo. Now you are going to explain me how Di Francesco got his contract extended instead of being sacked after the defeat against Genoa. But there we have Di Francesco on the bench after 7 defeats in a row and 12 winless games. This is the run for Cagliari before the game against Sassuolo, another knife that is going down and down in the table. They lost against Lazio. Now 4 winless games, 3 defeats and 1 draw. So 2 teams that are not good, but for sure Sassuolo is a better team than Cagliari.
Well, if I wasn't doing these videos, probably my second best job would be managing Cagliari, considering that you can lose 8 games in 10 and still be the manager of the team. I mean, I got nothing against Di Francesco. I think he proved during his career that the teams can play well, but I think simply it's not working. They do concede goals. They don't score many. Okay, let's say they were a touch unlucky in the last 2-3 weeks. Against Genoa, they lost 1-0, and the Genoa keeper Perin was extraordinary. He kept out at least 3 or 4 clear chances. In Florence 3 weeks ago, if Joao Pedro had scored the penalty, maybe it was a different game. Obviously, I think for Cagliari, they must see that something is clicking there, because otherwise they would have sacked him. Maybe the additions in midfield of Nainggolan and Alfred Duncan from Fiorentina, of course, loans, they are working. They play a Sassuolo team that is very unpredictable, because if you look at a game from Sassuolo, within the 90 minutes, you can see 3 different teams, because they go phases, they go up and down, they play extraordinarily well for 15-20 minutes, creating chances, good interplay links, good combination, and then they switch off. They are always second onto the ball, they leak goals at the back. I mean, no surprise they are winless in the last 3 games with 6 goals conceded, 3 straight away defeat as well. So let's say that this is gonna be Di Francesco day, but cautiously. Asian handicap of 0 for Cagliari, 230. Again, if they draw, which for now for Cagliari drawing with Sassuolo would be a good result, at least you get your money back.
Another important game for the relegation battle is Crotone Genoa. We saw how Crotone was able to beat Benevento in their last home game, and that was very important, because even if they are on the bottom of the table, they are only 2 points away from salvation. So a victory against Genoa, another team that is involved in the fight, will be very important. Genoa, we just said it, how they were able to beat Cagliari with Destro scoring that goal. They are not in a bad form at all in the last 6 games. Only 1 defeat against Sassuolo, but they were able to draw against Atalanta. They beat Bologna, so some good results. And if Genoa, Juric, man, they are able. No, Ballardini, sorry, man. They are able to get Ballardini. Juric is in Verona. It will be a very good result. I don't know if you see Genoa taking points out of the south of Italy.
I think they can, because they were impressive when they went to Bergamo and they shut them down 0-0. And as we said before, Ballardini is steadying the ship, 4-4-2, 2 up front. There's just basically more confidence in Genoa, and they look at themselves and they think we shouldn't be in that position, and they start climbing the table. The worrying thing with Genoa is, despite the good players they got up front, Destro, you mentioned it, Scamacca, Shomudorov, Piazza, they only scored 19 goals in the league. Second worst attack, you wouldn't believe it. Crotone scored many more, and they are with 3 wins in the last 4 home games. However, can they do it without their messiahs? They're gonna miss Junior Messias, who's the striker who scored 6 goals and assisted 2. He's injured, so I think that's gonna be difficult for Stroppa's men. I'm gonna go for both teams to score, no. So either a 0-0 or only one team to score, either way, 2-15.
All right, and if Crotone takes the 3 points, the team that is gonna be bottom of the table is Parma, and they have a very difficult trip to Napoli, to the Diego Armando Maradona Stadium. But Napoli, they will be also urging for a victory, bouncing back after the defeat against Hellas Verona, where they played really badly, even if they took the lead very early with the goal scored by Lozano. But they have an easy rival, at least on the paper. Parma, they are in a very bad form. Gervinho was misfiring a lot against Sampdoria. They lost again. And in the last 7 games, only 1 point, winless in the last 10. So everything is bad for Parma.
Well, I think for Napoli, playing Parma is the best thing that can happen to them in this moment, because you play the bottom team of the league, and Napoli are obviously in a crisis. Let's see what happens with Spezia on Thursday. If they go out of the cup, I think Gattuso's job might be on the line. Not because he's doing badly, but he got more points in the table than last year, Napoli. But with the options, with the talent that Napoli has, we would expect more also from the manager in order to change the game in due course, do some tactical changes, change the formation. Don't always play with 4-2-3 and leave basically everything on the shoulders of Insigne and Lozano. If they're not inspired, Napoli doesn't click. The good news for Napoli is they're gonna have back Osimhen, who was decisive when they played Parma in the first game of the season at Tardini, and they're gonna have back Mertens, so that should ensure them enough firepower. Parma, far too many injuries in all the departments. They don't have Caramo, they don't have Laurini, Bruno Alves. These are big absentees. They brought in a defender, Daniel Conti, from Milan, that in the attempt at least to don't leak too many goals. Lost 5 away games this season. They are, say, if they continue like this, they're obviously going to go down. So Napoli to score in both halves, which pays 2, I think is a good odds.
The last game we have is a very tricky one, in my opinion, at the Olimpico. Roma Verona in the reverse fixture. Roma lost because the Fonseca made changes that he shouldn't do it, and after the Serie A said that Roma was not able to pick the point that they got in the Bentegodi. Roma is coming from a difficult victory against Spezia in a very late winner scored by Pellegrini after leading the game 3-1. Still a lot of mistakes in the defense for Roma, and remember that the fans are not very happy after the defeat in Coppa Italia and that defeat in the derby. And be careful with Verona. Really good team. They were able to beat Napoli, 3 away victories this season, and one of them was at the Olimpico. Against Lazio, they were also able to beat Atalanta in Stadio Azzurri d'Italia. So even if we see the odds 1.72 for Roma, be careful with this one.
Absolutely, it's a very balanced game and very interesting. Roma, people say they are in a crisis, well, they are not as good as we used to see them in a few weeks ago, but they are third and they've never been so close to the top of the league in recent years. So if we look at the points, it is probably one of the best seasons this Roma has ever had. But of course, there is turmoil in the dressing room. There is the Dzeko situation. Is he going to be brought back? He had problems with Fonseca. Roma need a centre forward. That's why El Shaarawy is coming back. I don't know if he's going to be playing for, I see you don't like it very much, but I think it's a good option. I don't know if he's going to be playing. Won 4 of the last 5 at home, Rome. We know that they are very good against non-top team, and is Verona top team? Well, we'll find out probably on Sunday, but they conceded 9 goals in the last 4. So where I'm going from here, look at the goals market. Despite Verona having the best defense in the league, 18 goals conceded alongside Juventus, although they played 1 more game, they are a team that also can score. And as you said, when they travel, they already won 3 games. They have one of the most informed fantasista in the league, Zaccagni, 5 goals and 5 assists. So the goals market is the interesting one. Over 3 goals, 2.07. So you get your money back if there are just 3 goals, and I think that's a good bet.
If Fonseca qualifies Roma for the Champions League with Mayoral and El Shaarawy as attackers, I think we have to remove the statue of Vittorio Emanuele II and put Fonseca in Piazza Venezia, because that would be an absolute...
Fonseca is a good manager. I think he adapted well to the Italian football, and up to the game against Inter, Roma were playing the best football we have seen this season. So let's give him a bit of credit as well.
Yeah, but Roma fans were wanting him out after the defeat in Coppa Italia. We all know how Roma is a very hot atmosphere, hot fans for the good and for the bad. And the last thing we have, Danny, we've analyzed all 10 games, is your ACCA.
Okay, let's go with 5 games as always. So a win for Juventus, Inter and Benevento both to score, Spezia Udinese double chance 1x, Atalanta and Lazio over 3 goals, and then Crotone Genoa, another double chance, in this case is x2, and the total odds is 14.63.
All right. Then, Danny, thank you very much, and next week we will see each other again. Take care.
Thank you, Edo. See you soon. Enjoy the Italian football.
Ciao. So you see, Danny thinks that Milan is gonna drop points at Dallara and Inter can get on top of the table. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section and you will have the chance to win a £10 free bet with Novibet. Leave a comment to participate in the draw. And do not forget to click on the like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to our channel and click on the bell to get all the notifications. Remember, you can listen also to all our videos in our podcast. And next week, we will be back with more odds on Serie A.